This bait just caught the Virginia state record bass, over 12 pounds. It's a bait that works great over grass, and there's a couple of reasons it works good over that grass. One real good reason it works great over that grass, particularly early in the year. That's 3 great reasons. What is it? Good morning, guys and girls. March 2nd, March 2, reading from a Catch a Better Life book on the Catch a Better Life channel on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to Catch a Better Life, subscribe right now. You will definitely catch a better life because we start with a scripture each day. We have a devotional built around fishing, and we have a fishing tip for every single day. The fishing tip, sometimes we have a little pop quiz like we just did that kind of lets you kind of figure out what I might be thinking, which is not necessarily gospel for sure. The gospel's in the book. The gospel's in the scripture. But the things I talk about fishing are my ideas, my opinions, and sometimes they're spot on, and sometimes they're totally different what other people believe. But anyway, today we're looking at Mark 10:49. Be sure to subscribe to this channel on YouTube or Facebook, Jimmy Houston Outdoors, all capital letters on Facebook. Got 3 YouTube channels. Make sure you subscribe to all 3 of them. Mark 10:49 said, "Then they called the blind man, saying to him, 'Be of good cheer, rise, he's calling you.'" Here's what I wrote about that. An effective way to fish grass is to find a grass flat and just blind cast over it. Find a grass flat and just go out through there, just blind cast and throw it left, right, forward, all around the boat, Depending on how deep the grass is, lipless crankbaits and spinnerbaits work great. Things like a red man spinnerbait, things like a all-American rattler, lipless crankbaits. Keep scanning with your live scope and watch for high spots and low spots in the grass, as well as fish moving in and out of the vegetation. Most of the fish inside the vegetation you can't see. There are some you can see. If you'll notice, you see one that's sort of like pulsating a little bit. It looks like grass, but it's pulsating. That's a fish. That's a fish right there. But they're pretty hard to see in the grass most of the time because you got stuff in front of you. There's stuff, they're in the grass, and you got grass in between you and the fish. You can't hardly see them. But keep spinning. Look for those high spots. Look for those low spots. Look for little points. And look for fish that are moving in and out. It's exciting how this new technique allows us to see the unseeable. It allows us to see what we've never been able to see before under the water. In today's scripture, blind Bartimaeus got excited when he heard that Jesus was coming down the road. He had heard a lot about Jesus. And he kept crying out, "Jesus, Son of David, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Can you imagine? Can you just imagine what he thought when the disciple says, "Rise, he is calling you. Rise, he is calling you." Bartimaeus, though blind, knew that Jesus was walking down the road to him, and he received his sight. Jesus cured his blindness. All of a sudden, he could see. One bright day, those of us who are saved, we're going to hear God say, "Rise, he is calling you." Jesus is calling us. Rise, he is calling you. What a glorious, glorious day that will be. Here's our tip for today, the mimic impersonator. That's right, the mimic impersonator works well over grass, and it offers perfect depth control. That was the reason I was looking for, is it offers perfect depth control. But let me tell you something else. Because a mimic impersonator doesn't have weights in it, so it sinks slowly. It is a sinking bait. You crank it, just throw it out there and wind it in. It's only going to run a couple, 2 or 3 foot deep. But you can let it fall, and it'll fall correctly. It'll wiggle a little bit as it falls. When it's coming back to you, it makes that little slow, wide wobble. And you can put any kind of insert in it. A mimic impersonator is a clear plastic bait, and it's got inserts, and you buy them, and it usually comes with about 3 inserts with it. A mimic impersonator in a pack. It's made by Lucky Strike. A mimic impersonator in a pack, and it's got usually a couple inserts. So you can, have a crawfish pattern, you can have a bluegill pattern, a bass pattern, a fire tiger, any kind of pattern you want. So you can change that pattern around just by slipping that insert out, putting a new insert in. It's a lure that has many, many colors. That's why I call it impersonator. It impersonates crawfish. It impersonates crawdads, it impersonates shad, it impersonates bluegill, impersonates whatever you want it to impersonate. And it's got that wide wobble, and it's got perfect depth control. Great bait over grass. Great bait over grass. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. And remember, I sure do love you.